Hey guys, hope you're doing well. So we're gonna just do a check-in. It's been a little while since I've done one. I do kind of want to talk about some of the stuff that's going on. We'll pull some cards afterwards. So a lot of people who have been in hermit mode, kind of keeping to themselves more, and kind of going within, working on their stuff. You should be coming out of hermit mode. If you haven't been feeling like yourself for the last few months and things have just been heavy, you've been kind of feeling stuck, you've been feeling kind of restless, you are coming out of this, or you should be coming out of it soon, where you're going to have a little bit more clarity, a little bit more understanding of why you were in that specific phase and cycle. Kind of the next steps, like you'll have more open energy and more clarity and stuff. It's important to not force yourself to do things out of fear, or out of discomfort, or feeling like out of control or unsafe. Like, it's important to sit with your energy, sit with your emotions, see why you're feeling afraid, why you're feeling uncomfortable, why you're feeling stuck, like seeing why all of these feelings are happening, and sit with them and release them, but not react out of them. Like, don't do behaviors out of them. Like, make sure that even if you're feeling all those emotions and feelings and you're letting them up, your behavior is not reflecting going backwards to that fear stuff. Like, make sure that you're still doing things from a place of empowerment, doing things from a place of like soul energy and love, doing things from a place that it's what's best for you. Not, I'm worried about, what other people think. I'm worried about the past repeating itself. Like, not using fear as a basis to make your decisions, making sure you're making choices that are what you actually truly want. All fears aside, what is it that I want? And then moving toward that. They're just like emphasizing not doing fear-based decisions, Okay. Let's pull some cards and see. You might be having different fears coming up over the last few months. I mean, I feel like we're always doing that, but this is what they're kind of saying. You might be having specific type of fears coming up over the last few months, but especially the last few weeks. And some of you, that's like old soul lessons or certain things that is a part of like fulfilling your purpose here. So you have to work through the fear and create this like energy. Damn, I felt that shit in my throat chakra. They're saying the energy of resistance, but not in the way that like the human mind thinks it is. It's like, let me figure out how to like explain what they're saying, because they're saying the word resistance, but it's not like the human resistance energy. It's actually, I was gonna say, I don't really want to explain it, but all right, I'll try my best. When you're getting hit with fears or you're getting hit with specific energies, whether they're internal ones that you've either been conditioned, like society or family conditioning, or past life trauma, or spirits sending you energy, or you're feeling other people's energy, whatever it is, okay? Like, when they're saying about the resistance, what they're talking about is you have that fear, you have whatever. When you're working on releasing that fear, you're resisting it, you're pulling away from it. And as you're doing that, you're growing this power stronger of actual empowerment energy and actual truth energy, and working through fears aren't real anyway. Like, most of the time they're not real anyway. So like, you're working through that to like release it. So all the energy that's kind of resistant to that, you're healing it. And as you're healing it, you grow in your power, and then you have a different level of confidence. You have a different level of understanding, which will help you with your purpose, which will help you with what you're going to be kind of working on in the future and helping other people with. I'm not taking all that. That's a lot of cards. There's like just chunks of cards that keep coming out, and I'm like, no, I'm not taking that many. You might have like angels connecting with you lately. They seem to be kind of giving people messages lately, kind of popping up, these two. And like kind of popping up lately. So it could be either through your dreams. It could also be just you'll be sitting and like just this thought comes in and it's just ultimate truth and you can feel it. And it's just this very like, it feels like cool energy, like cold, but not actually cold. And it just feels really good in your body. Or you might be going random places and you'll meet somebody who will give you a message that you've been asking for clarity on, you've been praying about, or you've been asking for clarity, and you'll go somewhere and somebody will just like give you the message, and it's like angels or your spirit team or whoever it is that's giving it to you. But I just get a lot of like angel energy is around right now. Like a lot of angels are kind of connecting to you guys more and helping you with opening up to some more spiritual truths and understanding of like why we're here, what your path is, things like that. Okay, on the bottom we got 2 of aerial balance. So I get these almost like this conflicting energy with this card. It's like some of you guys are very like work, and it's like an avoidance and trying to avoid your emotions or feelings and trying to control something that's really out of your control. And it's like at the same time, like your soul and your heart is wanting the thing that you're actually avoiding. So Spirit's kind of just saying you need to balance this. Like it's okay to have fears and stuff like that, but you need to work through the fears and move forward. Stop avoiding it. Like the more you're avoiding it, the more you're actually growing the fear, the more you're actually like putting your energy into the fear. And you're like, it's not that you're dulling what you want, it's that you're disconnecting from it, and it's like you're stepping further and further away from what you want. And Spirit's saying like, look, like we understand you have fears and things like that, but you still need to take even baby steps forward toward what you want. Like stop running away and resisting what it is that you want. Like you need to balance that. So even if you're doing it, okay, I'm trying to figure out how to say this. So it's like, if there's something that you want, there's a desire you have, but you have like 4 or 5 different fears like that just keep coming up and repeating in your mind over and over and over. Most likely it's a trauma you've already experienced. It's most likely a trauma you've already experienced, right? Or you've seen, or somebody told you to worry about, or whatever. So what Spirit's saying you're doing is, instead of moving toward what you want, you're running away and you're avoiding it. You're paying attention to other distractions, other people, other things, whatever it is, and you're just avoiding it. So when you're here and you're doing distractions, you're just walking away from it. And it's almost like it's causing you more pain, and you know it's causing you more pain because as you keep pulling away from it, this feels like it's going away. Like this, we'll call it like love energy, right? Like this love energy for whatever or whoever it is. It's like this specific energy. I just keep getting love energy. So a person or a thing that you love or you desire, you want, passion, whatever. And the more you keep pulling away from it, it feels almost like obsolete, like you can't have it. But it's not that you can't have it. It's because you're just distancing yourself so much that you can't feel it as strong because you're so fucking disconnected and pulled away from it. So Spirit's saying like, you got to work through the fears. And it's like, what is this fear I have? Is there anything in my intuition telling me that I should be worried about this? Is there anything in this situation telling me I should be worried about this? And then working with yourself and going within and calming that fear down, and then taking a step forward and working through the next obstacle and taking a step forward. The problem is, if you're feeling stuck, it's because you're not taking steps forward. It's because you're not, like, when you're getting the clarity or understanding, it's like you'll acknowledge it, but then you're like, well, maybe it's not true. Well, maybe this, and you'll make excuses and you'll avoid it again. How are you going to get out of a cycle if you keep repeating the same ass fucking behaviors? You know what I mean? You can't get out of a cycle if you keep making the same decisions. And what Spirit's saying is, for some of you, you think you're making a different decision, but your underlying intention is the exact same as it was in the past, and it's fear-based. So look at what your actual intention is and your reasoning for doing what you're doing, and see if that reasoning is the same as the past behavior, because you're not actually changing it. You have to heal whatever it is, and your intention has to be based on an empowered energy of what you actually desire, and not out of fear or lack or worry. And that's how you're going to work toward getting to your soul truth, to make things more peaceful, to make things more calm, to make things more flowy, where you're not trying to control stuff, you're not trying to resist things. Like, you will get in the energies as you're clearing it, and you'll have your own periods where you're going to feel stuck, or you're going to feel whatever you're feeling as you're clearing stuff and you're growing. But when you're in alignment with yourself, you naturally know that this is going to pass. Like, I already know this is going to pass. I'm going to work through whatever I need to, and it's going to shift as soon as it needs to. And as soon as it shifts, you feel back to being yourself again, and everything just flows. You'll get the idea, and then you just move forward. Everything's just very intuitive, very fluid and flowy. There's no really like logical control. There's no really needing to, I need to think about these decisions, because you can just feel the energy flowing, and you're just doing things out of like your intuitive energy. That's what makes things easier for you. But a lot of people are kind of still stuck in that like ego fear-based stuff, instead of like the soul, like their soul energy, their soul truth. So, okay, we have, I just realized there's 3 major arcanas, which is major life event, like major situations, things like that. So we got leap of faith, perspective, change your life, which is interesting because they're all men. So we got some insane masculine energy here, but I love the perspective and change your life because they're actually very similar cards. Like, it's seeing things from a different perspective. It's contemplation, it's looking at like things from a higher perspective, right? Like right here, I love this because it almost seems very literal to the picture. It's like you see an opportunity, you see something new you want, right? The leap of faith is all about new beginnings. And I just looked up 1111. So some of you guys might be in spiritual awakenings too. I feel like 1111 is a number that gets thrown at people the most when they're starting to become spiritually awakened and aware of their spiritual path, their soul, their purpose, things like that, to higher truths, right? And sometimes we go through multiple layers of that. But anyway, that's what it feels like. It feels like this energy of like looking forward to something new, wanting this new beginning. It's kind of like the envisioning process. Like there's a little bit of fear there, but you're like, oh, I'm excited about it. And with these cards, it's like you're seeing like the fear, you're seeing the shadow, you're seeing things from a human perspective. You're seeing things when we're looking at things from a human perspective, we're looking at them from a logical, conditioned, limited perception. We're not seeing things as they are. If you ever noticed when you go into like spiral mode, I call it, where you go into fear mode and you start overthinking stuff, when you're able to calm that down and like your mind is calm and you're not thinking about it, you'll get the actual truth to it and you realize it's not what you thought it was. So a lot of times, like when we're not going into our intuition, or we're not waiting for a truth and an answer and clarity to come up, and we're just trying to get the answer right now, or we're like just using like our human conditioning for stuff, we're not able to see things clearly. Like you're trying to see things upright, but you're seeing them upside down, right? And with this change your life card, this is kind of looking at things from a higher perspective. Like, what is this teaching me? Like, what is this, like, why is this going on? How is this helping me grow? Where is this bringing me to? And it's really like taking time to go within and get clarity and insight on stuff, because not only are we humans, but we're also souls. So we have our own purpose for being here. We have soul lessons that we need to go through that we don't at a logical level know. So even though things outwardly can seem very heavy, very stuck, like a lot of times I think one of the things that the human kind of consciousness goes through is, because we don't see it in front of our face, we don't think that it's possible for the future. But when you're in your intuition and you're connected to your soul energy, you actually can see it ahead of time. All the other stuff you're seeing right now is an illusion, and that's because these are basically obstacles and things you need to overcome and lessons that you need to help with your soul growth, but also for part of your spiritual purpose. So you're not looking at it like that. If you can look at it as an outsider to the situation, and like you do both. Like, so for me, like kind of what I do is like I process my feelings. So if like I'm hurt or upset about something somebody did or a situation's going on, I look at it like I'm feeling, usually when I'm angry, it's actually because I'm really fucking hurt. So usually like I'll look at it like this, like I'm really fucking angry. And I'm like, it made me feel like really hurt. It made me feel really ignored. It made me feel unloved. It made me feel like I'm always the one who's like trying to compromise on stuff, and it's like I'm never met in the middle. There's no partnership, there's no teamwork. It's always me doing this, right? And then if I've processed all those emotions, because I need to, and a lot of that relates to like childhood and past relationships and stuff like that, right? which I'm also taking responsibility that I entered relationships like that. And at that time, I wasn't setting boundaries. I wasn't respecting myself the way I should have. So it's like a whole grieving process. And then I look at it from the other perspective, and I look at it from a soul perspective of what is this teaching me right now? This is teaching me where I'm not setting boundaries, where I'm not respecting myself, where I'm, holding other people responsible for stuff. It's teaching me how to actually set a boundary or like a goal or something that's like a non-negotiable and stick to it. It's helping me to have space in my life so I can grow within myself and not focus on other things, because there are things I need to learn. There are things that I need to heal. And if, whatever is going on, I'm not able to do that. So I kind of look at things from the other perspective, and I'm just giving you very generalized shit, right? That's not like, well, it's kind of literal to things I've been through, but like, it's just very generalized. Oftentimes it's a lot more detailed than that, right? Like a specific thing that was said to me. Why did that trigger me so bad? Or why did that make me feel like this? And I go into the emotional stuff, process, feel that, and then what is this teaching me? And when I can see it from the outside, I balance out like my human and my soul stuff, because I can understand why it made me emotional, and I validate that. Because as a human, we have emotions, right? And they're valid and they're normal and they're okay to have. I'm not going to make myself feel bad for having emotions. But also I can understand that this person wasn't trying to hurt me at a soul level. I needed this experience to help me grow, to help me move forward with something, to help me heal something, and to help me overcome something. So I can look at things from both perspectives. And that's kind of what Spirit's saying, is like they're trying to help you balance and do the same thing, where you can work through and see things from a different perspective. And when you do, you can see the difference of the people you want in your life and the people you don't. I feel like so much of this is very complex, so I'm trying to say it as like general as possible, because you have your group of people that intentionally manipulate, intentionally do things that are kind of trying to take you away from the path that you want. They're trying to put fears in your head. They're trying to fuck with you standing in your power. They're trying to do all these things. They have a spiritual purpose too, because without them, you're not going to be able to grow, right? They're the resistance I was talking about in the beginning. You're not going to be able to grow and overcome those things. And it's a lot harder to do that when it's something that's close to you or when it's something that you care about. So oftentimes that's why we have those people to teach us these lessons, right? When we get to a place within ourselves that we respect ourselves, we don't allow that type of behavior. We don't allow that type of energy in our space. We don't allow those type of people in our space, because we know that they're not good for us. They're not helpful. If we're loving and respecting ourselves, that means we're cutting people out of our lives that don't deserve to be in it, that aren't loving and respecting ourselves. That's just kind of one example. They're wanting me to like leave off with just that example. So maybe somebody needed to hear that. Somebody needed to hear that specifically or something. I feel like I'm talking really fast right now. Sorry. Like sometimes I get like that energy. I've been getting hit with a lot of strong energy the last few days, but the energy, oh, it's my wind chimes. The energy has been like really, I just see it being windy out. It's been really strong and really intense lately. And you should be getting like more clarity and more understanding with stuff. And if your energy is open and flowing, you should be getting more clarity and understanding. If your energy is closed and you're not, it could be because you're not ready for it. It's not the right time, or, which the waiting game just came out when I said that, or it could be because you're still trying to control things and you're still in fear base and you're not allowing things to flow. So I would say the best thing to do, the first thing to do, that's the easiest and best thing to do, is ask. Like you could say through prayer, you can just say like spirit team, you can say angels, higher power, universe, spirit, source, God, whatever word, whatever you feel comfortable with. You can just say it very generalized. I like to say it out loud. You don't have to say it out loud, but I feel like it just has more power when you say it out loud. Can you guys like give me clarity on, whatever the fuck you're needing clarity on? Can you give me clarity on this? Can I get answers on this? I don't know how to get unstuck. Like, what can I do to get unstuck? Or what do I need to overcome? Or what do I need to work through to move forward? I'm not even sure where I want to move forward. So what can I do? Like, ask them. And you can ask as often as you want. Like, you can't ask too many fucking times. Like, I promise you. they will either give you the answer directly or they will guide you to a person where you will feel this person's telling you the truth. They've actually had a lot of people the last week come into my store, like new people that I've never met before, come into my store because they've been asking for spirit messages and they've been asking for clarity, and spirit has, I can feel them. So spirit has me give them the answers and the clarity. And I love it. I love when people cry because they're like, oh, I've been asking about this and like, I've been waiting for an answer. I'm like, yeah, because I'm so much in my power and I'm so confident in my spiritual gifts and my abilities that, and my connection, that when I give you the answer, it's very, it's not even just, it's honest because I'm an honest person anyway, but it's not even just that. It's because there's also an energetic power in the way I say things and how I say them that you can actually feel the truth from it. And a lot of times what happens is people start crying and they don't realize why they're crying. And it's because I saw something in them that they were too scared to see or validate. And they felt seen for the first time. They felt heard for the first time. And it's like I help them to energetically release this barrier or this wall they've been holding in. So they're actually like crying as a way to purge it and release it. It's so beautiful. Like, oh God, it's such a beautiful thing. Like I can't even explain to you. Like, and they always feel bad for crying. Like, cry, I'll fucking cry with you. I don't give a shit. Like for me, I think it's such a beautiful thing. But I think what they're missing is it makes them feel uncomfortable because they're being seen for the first time, like truly seen, and it's so vulnerable. And people feel vulnerable and they're not comfortable with feeling vulnerable. And I try to create like safety and stuff, obviously, when I do it, but spirit guides me to say stuff to people. And I love doing it, honestly. Like I feel like my best days at the shop are the days where like I'm helping people, like where like people are coming in who've been stuck or needing spirit messages, and like just the feeling and like this seeing how like they just released all this pain and heaviness and stuff. And I know how it feels because I've been those people before. So it's just nice that I'm able to kind of help them. And I think also it helps me in a sense too, because when I was going through that, I always felt very alone and I always had to do everything on my own. You know, now that I have more awareness, I realize that I actually like to do things on my own because I trust spirit more than I trust a person giving me the information. But spirit has had me like a few weeks back, was it like a few months ago or something, had somebody give me some clarity, and I started feeling what other people feel, like how it feels to feel very seen and vulnerable. I was like, oh shit, is that what other people feel when I'm giving them shit? And I started laughing. I was like, all right, I can see why people are so uncomfortable. I feel their discomfort, but I was like, I can see why they're so uncomfortable. I'm like, it's all right, we'll breathe through that shit together. Like, I don't give a fuck. So my point with all that, of me rambling on and stuff, is ask, and spirit will give you the message, either like I said, through yourself, or they'll have you meet somebody like me, or honestly, sometimes you'll be at like a grocery store and you'll be like checking out and there's a cashier that's like energy is really open and they'll ask you a certain thing, or they'll like say something to you, you'll strike up a conversation because like there's an angel kind of channeling through them to give you the message you asked for. So like, just ask. That's it. Just ask. If you're feeling stuck, you don't know what to do, just ask. That's all you have to do right now. When the answer comes in, listen to it. Like, you can feel the difference between somebody's just giving you bullshit versus somebody's giving you a spiritual truth. You can definitely feel the fucking difference. So pay attention to that and then just do whatever you're guided to. Like, you already internally know the answer. You're probably just stuck. There's probably a fear. There's probably something stuck there. And sometimes you just need an outside person to give you that clarity and see that doesn't know your situation, that's not answering you off of like their own ego and their own shit. Sometimes like getting it from a complete outsider actually helps shift your perspective because they don't know all the bullshit and there's no emotional attachment to you and your situation. So I think that's sometimes too why people like feel safer and trust that. Just make sure you're checking in to make sure that what information you're receiving aligns with you and resonates with your energy. If you feel a lot of conflict and you feel a lot of heaviness with what somebody's saying, is probably not a spiritual truth. It might feel uncomfortable as shit's resolving if it's true, but you can feel the difference because it's almost like this like clicking, like this like aha moment, this like epiphany where you're like, holy fuck, like you will know. So anyway, okay. On the bottom, we got harmony with intuition. Ooh, we got awareness too. Oh, look at that. I feel like they're being literal as fuck with the balance underneath, and that's another 11. I feel like Spirit's just being real fucking literal today. Literally literal. I realize I say the word literally a lot, and I don't give a fuck. Yeah, I guess we're doing it like this. If this message is for you, just look at the cards. I'm going to put it closer. Just look at the cards. Because I feel like if this message is for you, I don't need words, and you will just be able to channel what that means. Stop questioning yourself and second guessing yourself. If it's for you, you'll know it's for you. Okay, we got accelerated motion, triumph, the waiting game. Jesus, the waiting game. I just keep hearing like patience, patience, patience. They're like patience, patience. The patience and the virtue, I think, is a big thing. It's funny because I'm like one of those people, I'm like, I want something, like, let's go. Like, I don't want to wait for it. Like, let's go. And I swear, like, I've learned so much patience over the last few years. I think I learned patience with like people, animals type stuff when my cat, who's almost 4, started breaking my really expensive crystals. And I had to learn like, okay, it's not that big of a deal. Like, yes, it makes me sad. She has not been breaking them for a while. Like after I overcame that lesson, she stopped breaking them. But yeah, she was breaking like just crystals that I was like, oh my God, I like love this. My very first Herkimer I bought, it was like a giant one. Like they're so expensive now, but I got it for like $65. And I mean, it was like a fucking huge Herkimer. Now, if I bought that, it would probably be like $300 fucking dollars because they're so expensive right now. But anyway, it's one of my favorite like crystals, one of the top 10 crystals I love. I have like a ton of them. I collect the shit out of them. But anyway, so like that taught me patience. I've been at my store for 3 years. I wanted to start big. I wanted a bigger store. Spirit's like, start small, start small. I've learned how to adapt to where I am. I've learned how to expand where I am. I've learned how to be patient. And as I've been doing that, I've been getting all of the clarity and answers I need because it's going to be a lot more responsibility. I'm going to have to hire people. There's other stuff that's going to happen when I get the bigger store. So it's going to shift a lot. So they've been pretty much having me meet the people I need to meet to give me answers that I've been asking them for. And they've been kind of setting me up with clarity for all the stuff that I'm going to need. So whenever the time is right, I'm just going to be able to go like this. Like everything's just going to go. I'm sure there will be bumps because there's always bumps, but fairly seamlessly where I already know what system I'm going to use for like the time thing, like the background stuff, like all that type of stuff. They've been giving me like the information for like everything. So all the questions I've had, like key card things, like just all kinds of shit, like all kinds of shit, security system, like all kinds of shit, literally. So, yeah, they've been giving me the clarity over the last, clarity over the last few months of what I'm needing. So whenever it's the right time. So I've been sitting in that energy and that patience and appreciating it because for a period of time, I was really slow at the store. And like, I've talked about this before, like I was slow, but like most of the time, what do? We go into our fear, ego, and we're like, let's chase money. Let me advertise more. Let me do more. For me, I'm like, I already learned this fucking lesson. Like, we're not chasing shit. So I'm like, what am I fucking learning? Like, what is going on? Yes, my ego's like, bitch, you need money. You need to appreciate yourself for work. But the other part of me is like, what is this teaching me? And it was because I had so much energy shifts going on. I had so much emotional like turmoil of stuff that I was healing that I did not have the energy to deal with people at my shop, like how often they come in and having to deal with everybody's energy like I've been lately because I've had the energy to help them now. Because I didn't have that space to do that and I needed to take care of myself. So Spirit was kind of keeping people away and just having them come in slowly for me to make enough money, but for me to have the space I needed and stuff. And then as soon as I was done with that, like I've been a lot busier and I've been helping people more and stuff like that. So I needed that to happen. So when we're in that space where we're not getting what we want, we have to learn patience and we have to stop resisting that we're not ready for what we want. If we were ready for it, we would have it. So there's a reason we're not. And it's usually releasing like blockages, releasing fears, releasing that I can't do this or I can't handle this, I'm not enough, whatever the fuck it is, right? Learning how to ask for help, learning how to receive help, learning how to whatever the fuck it is for you, and being patient and going with the flow and allowing things to come in and not chasing them. And it makes things so much fucking easier. Like, I promise you, I'm going to tell you this and then I'm going to start reading the cards again. So if you've been watching me for a while, I think I talked about this in one of the readings, and I think I even posted on my Instagram back December. So like it's June. So like 6 months ago, maybe November. So 6 or 7 months ago, I started making these manifestation intention candles, and I'm doing this balance set. Funny enough, I already did the candles literally 6 or 7 months ago. These balance candles where I bought the black shimmer candles and the white metallic candles, and I bought yin yang stickers to go with it, and doing balancing intention candles and what they're for. I already made them. I was looking up different like things I can put them in, because I put herbs and oils and stuff on them, so this way like the stuff doesn't all come off. Not that it really matters, but like for me, I'm like, you know, I want this stuff to look pretty, and like, why the fuck do I want it to come off? Whatever. It doesn't even matter. Anyway, so I'm looking for packaging, and I couldn't find any packaging where it was working out. Just everything wasn't working out and whatever. So the other day, this is stuff I've already been wanting to do for months. I've been thinking about this 6, 8 months, however long, where I want to sell herbs. I want to sell the candles. I want to sell intention things, manifestation intention things, right? There's a whole big ass thing to this. I'm not going to explain all of it. I'd already bought these like jars to make for manifestation jars with the crystal chips in it. Bought those probably like almost a year ago. After I just kind of went out of this mode that I'm in, I started getting all this clarity. And I'm like, oh, we're going to do this whole intention station. I didn't even realize all these things were going to go together, right? So as soon as all this information came, I'm like, shit, let me look up the packaging for the candles. Immediately I found exactly what I needed. I've been selling a lot of like large towers like this, or bigger ones lately. And I'm like, I really need to get different like packaging at the store, because I don't like the way I've been. Why is that? Oh my God, it was sideways. I was like, why does that look funky as fuck? It looked blurry. Okay, that's weird. And then so I was like, I went into like where I keep, like the room where I keep all the crystals and stuff at my house. And I saw one of the boxes that I used to ship stuff in. I'm like, oh, this would literally fit perfect. Okay, perfect. So any of the ones that are bigger, I just have to order a bigger box. But my point is, because it's aligned with that energy right now, everything just naturally comes. When I looked up packaging for the candles, I literally found it immediately. The thought popped in my head what to do, and I was like, oh, why don't I do this? And then I found everything right away. It took like 2 minutes, versus in the past I was looking for days and I literally couldn't find anything. And that's the point, is like when you're preparing for it. You get the information, you buy what you need, whatever, and then you're preparing for it, and then when it's ready to come, you'll feel all the energy, you'll feel the motivation, everything will just align. Everything will just domino effect fall into place. You'll know what to do with this. You know how to package it. You'll know all that stuff. If you're not in that energy, then let it just be what it is. Like, don't, after I went and looked for the packaging and stuff and I couldn't find it, I was like, all right, I'm not doing this shit right now. Like, I'm not doing this. And I honestly, like, it popped in and out of my head over the last few months, but I'm like, I'm not even worrying about this. Whenever it's supposed to come around, it will come around. And then it came back around. I was like, yes. This is exciting. So the point, keep your energy open and just let things flow. And if it's not flowing and you're having to work and there's a lot of resistance and nothing's kind of making sense, or it's not kind of falling in place, it's not the right time. Wait until the right time comes. Okay. Oh, the patience thing. I forgot where I was going. Sorry. I'm not spacey. I'm actually fairly grounded, but I just have so much energy coming in that my senses are like overstimulated. Like electric light bulb. With the accelerated motion and the triumph. Hold on. Gotta ground my energy real quick. This is like your manifestation coming in. This is kind of what I actually was just talking about, is like whatever you're trying to manifest, whatever you're desiring, whatever that dream is that you keep thinking about that you just can't let go, whatever that is, it's going to just rush in. And I feel like I've said this message like 1,000,000 times. Like, it's going to just rush in at the right time, but you have to be prepared. Like, it has to be grounded. You have to like release the blockages, anything like that. And then it's naturally going to come in. If you're still in this energy of trying to chase it, or you're still in this energy of trying to like force it, or like this resistance energy of like, why is it not coming in, this impatience energy, that means you still have blockages and things that you need to learn and things you need to heal. So the question I would start asking is, what do I need to do to get what I want? And then start listening to the goddamn answers. Because if like spirit's like laughing, and it feels like somebody else is laughing too, because it's like they've already told you the answer. Why are you not listening? Like, you've already gotten the clarity. Why are you not listening? And I think sometimes people, they're like, I want this, I want this, I want this. They literally do the complete fucking opposite of what they want. And I was talking to my friend about this the other day, and she was like, well, I think it's just because I'm lazy. I go, it's not laziness. I was like, it's actually, a lot of times it's actually a fear. It's a fear of getting what you want because it's very unfamiliar and you don't know what to do. And that means you have to stand in your power. And when you have to stand in your power, not everybody feels like they're capable of doing it, or they feel scared. And they know when they get into that power, they can't go backwards. So it's almost like they just want to sit in that shit a little bit longer. The problem is then you're just sitting in it forever and forever and forever. Oh, shit. Oh, shit. Okay. New supportive connections. I love how we're getting like this. Like, we got, what the hell was the card? Not the Lovers. The Harmony card, which is a lot of times the relationship card. New supportive connections, a lot of times the relationship card, right? So we got hidden motivations and taking steps. So I already said this before. This is just kind of like extra validation of what it is you want, and taking steps forward, not going to fear. Taking steps forward. Spirit's also saying stop lying to yourself and telling yourself you don't want something because you're scared of standing in your power and moving toward it. Like, you're letting fear get in the way. I think that's a big thing with the message they're giving, is release and control and stop trying to force things. Let things flow and surrender to them, but also stop making fear-based decisions and start making heart-centered decisions of things that you actually want, and take steps forward. Even when it's hard, take steps forward. So we got the loving man. Look at all those men coming out. It's Father's Day. The loving man, fragmented energy, and planning and action. Okay, I'm going to just tell you what they're saying to me. So with this loving man card, this feels like this energy of warmth and love, and it feels like what you guys actually want. It feels like this energy of you wanting love, you wanting peace, you wanting passion, you wanting excitement, but you don't want the chaos. You don't want the heaviness. You don't want all that stuff. You don't want boring shit either, but you don't want all this conflict and these storms, and like, where it just feels like you're constantly chasing, you're constantly running, you're constantly doing. And it's very exhausting. It's like you've been exhausted for a long time, and it's like you're seeing how you've been stuck in these cycles. You're constantly in storms. You're constantly trying to just pull yourself out of another situation, So with this planning and action card, and I love this, like, I know it's normally a compass. There is a compass, but they're showing me, and it looks like a clock, right? Like, that's the compass. This looks like the clock, though. Like, they're showing me this thing where it's like, it's a timing thing. You're already on the path. Like, this is already planned out. Like, your soul has already planned this out. Like, before you came here, like, your soul already knows the truth of it. That's why the intuition you're feeling, or the vision you've had, or the knowing you have for the future thing, is because your soul already knows, because your soul can feel it, right? So your mind is, you know, different than your soul. We're getting into balancing these two out. Is already planned out, and you're already working toward this, but you have to take steps forward, and it has to be on your terms. It feels like some of you wait till other people make decisions for you, or things to fall apart, or you kind of get backed into a corner where you feel like you have to make a choice. And Spirit's saying this is your opportunity to stand up for your fucking self and make that choice for you. Because they might just let you sit in that shit. They might actually like block other people from making that choice for you. They might actually block things from falling apart like they normally do, because they want you to make that decision on your own. When you make that decision on your own, it's totally different energy. It's one that things happen to you when you're letting other people and situations kind of fall apart. Things happening to you. It's another thing when you go, I actually deserve better than this, and I love and respect myself, and I'm not going to tolerate this shit. You grow so strong. It feels so good because you finally stand up for yourself the way you always wanted other people to stand up for you, and probably your parents who did not do that for you. But it helps you to take control and accountability of your life and responsibility for what you want. When you're doing the opposite and you're holding other people responsible to make choices for you, you're actually holding them to be responsible for your life decisions. And it's your life to choose what you want. Like, you're not a victim of your circumstances, you're choosing your circumstances. Like, you are making the choice. So if you're staying, and I'm not talking about, I'm going to exclude like abusive, domestic, like physically violent situations from this, because there's not always an out. And like, we're feeling safe, and that's a totally different ass thing than what I'm talking about. I'm not talking about that. But I'm talking about when you're unhappy in relationships, romantic, friendships, family. You're unhappy, you communicate your needs, they don't listen to you, you tell them how you feel, they don't listen to you, they come at you for what your dreams and desires are, or they nitpick them, or they shit talk them, or like, they just generally don't respect you, they're trying to bring you down, whatever the fuck it is. When you're sitting there and you're staying in that energy, you're choosing to let people disrespect you. You're choosing relationships with people who aren't aligned with you, who don't have your back, who aren't fucking safe, who don't actually accept you and love you the way you are. And you're going into that ego, fear, soul, like non-soul energy, that ego, fear, human energy. When you go, fuck this shit, I deserve better. You don't have to be aggressive or mean about it. Fuck this shit, I deserve better. And I'm making the choices for my life, and I'm taking responsibility. It helps you to stay where your life is better, because you don't tolerate bullshit. You don't do things that you don't want to fucking do. You do things out of love for yourself. And when you have relationships with people, you're doing it out of love for them. You're doing it in a different way. The intention is completely different, and you're helping yourself to show that you love yourself, and you're helping yourself to show that you respect yourself. But there's a difference, and this is what I was talking about earlier, is even if your behavior is different, is the intention still the same? So in the past, maybe you like, people cut you out or something like that, and you're just like, you know, whatever, and then you go cut people out. But you're doing it in a way because you're trying to piss them off, or you're trying to make them feel bad for what they did to you, or you're trying to do things in a way where you're trying to get them to see their, you know, true colors, and then so they'll come back to you and chase you and quote unquote change for you or whatever. If you, that's still the same shit. If you're standing in your power, you're recognizing that, yeah, there's still emotions toward these people. Yeah, that this person like hurt me and all of this, but you're not trying to do things to hurt them. You're not trying to do things out of reaction. You're going and reflecting within, and you're going, this person isn't right for me. This person isn't best for me. And I'm choosing to set a boundary, whether that's me saying to them, like, look, I can't have you in my life. Please respect my space. Whether that's you blocking them, whatever that is, it's a totally different intention of what you're doing. The behavior can be the same, but the intention can be different. So like Spirit's emphasizing, like making sure that even if your behavior is changing, the intention is also changing. It's not just about your behavior. It's also, why are you doing that? Are you doing it for the right reason and from a place of empowerment, or are you still doing it out of a fear response or a reactive response? And like, that's important, because one's disempowering and keeps you stuck in fear and ego, and the other one's empowering and strong, and it's helping you connect to soul. And if you really want your life to be peaceful, and if you really want your life to be balanced, and you really want your life to be emotionally fulfilling and like full of abundance and full of happiness and full of love, then you have to move forward toward that. If you want your life to be lack energy empty, feeling emotionally unfulfilled, feeling stuck, feeling hurt, feeling angry all the time, then keep going with your ego shit. You know what I'm saying? You have to go this way or this way, and it's your choice which way you're going to go. So anyway, I hope that this helps you guys, and I hope you guys all have an awesome day.